gonna turn it around if they know nobody's gonna love them. No, and nobody's gonna love them the way that God does. He loves us, yes he does. The kind of love that is unconditional. There is no way we can understand it all. I pray that one day we come together, one and all. Forever we'll be waiting on them. I'll keep on giving God the glory. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on. I've been grounded down and I nearly drowned. I'm up. What I prayed about you, my life around a good love. But it's God above and His Holy Son, and I'm blessed to be standing right here testifying. This kind of love invites all of us to come and lay down everything we find burdensome. When there's too much for us to carry, He will carry us. Forever we'll be waiting on me. I'll keep on giving God the glory. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on. Forever we'll be waiting on me. I'll keep on giving God the glory. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on. Forever we'll be waiting on me. I'll keep on giving God the glory. In heaven there are many before me, still cheering me on.
All right, welcome to Live and Unscripted number 12 with me, your host, Boston Chris of The Boston Chris Show. Live and Unscripted is at least once a week, every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central if we do a second show, which we are doing this week. We have a pretty long waiting list for this show, so most of the time it's going to be 2 every single Tuesday. I appreciate you all hanging out with us. And guys, this week we have Joe and Angie. The Swansons are our guests this week. They are an award-winning duo, and I'm looking forward to chatting with them. So without any further ado, let's do that. We were just listening to their brand new single called Forever, and they're waiting backstage for me to chat with, and so we're going to do that right now. Let's do it. All right, should we just sit here and listen and see how the magic happens? Or what's up, guys? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris, nice to be here.
Yeah, same, man. Joe and Angie, right? Is that the names?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Really excited to have y'all here. We were just playing your new single, Forever, so everybody was listening to that.
Thank you.
And you guys are up for Josie's this year, right? Or is it that you won one last year?
both, yes.
Both,
We won,
both.
Forever won Pop Rock Song of the Year at the Josie's, and this year we're nominated Duo of the Year, Album of the Year, and 2 of our singles. One is for Pop Rock Single of the Year, and one is for Inspirational Gospel Song of the Year.
So is that something that you guys accept as an identity, pop rock?
Yeah, pretty much so.
That's where we started for sure. The
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay.
Those are our roots, and it kind of morphed into this alternative country pop rock. That's been our label.
Alternative country rock pop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So essentially, it's all of the all of the above on your multiple choice questionnaire, right? All of the
Yes, that would
above.
be correct. Yeah.
So where are you guys from originally?
Well, I'm from Illinois. I'm from a suburb from Illinois. I was born in Joliet and grew up in the suburbs down there. And Joe,
Yeah, I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We reside and met and fell in love here in sunny Southern California.
That's right.
Wow, there's a story for you. There's got to be a story. So why are you guys both in Southern California?
Well, my parents transplanted us here in my teenage years, so I've been here for a while. And then Angie.
I came after college. Yeah, I graduated college in Illinois, and I just needed to get out of there, and I wanted to be in Southern California to hopefully pursue some sort of something in TV, radio, television, something of that sort. And all of it until I met this man, I had no clue that I would be in a band with my husband.
So he's brought the music out in you, so to speak.
Yeah,
100%.
I guess
Because
so,
he is from through and through songwriter at its core, beautiful singer as well.
Yeah.
But just a super talented songwriter. So at the core, it starts with Joe. And then he included me in his music, you would say, right? He shares it.
Something like that. We share our
together.
lives together.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bail him out a little bit here. You guys are, I mean, you're a duo. You're the Swansons. It's not Joe Swanson, it's the Swansons. So you guys both bring an equal amount of vibe to the group. I want to know what each of you brings to the duo. What would you say individually what you bring to the duo?
Well, yeah, we both bring a little something special. Angie, to me, brings a lot of joy. I mean, just natural, authentic joy to her performance that transfers to the audience, and I can see that, and I can see it in the eyes of our audiences. And that, I think, is the essence of who we are as the Swansons. And I provide the songs to let her display that joy. And so I'm happy to be just a part of that combination, you know. So I sink myself into writing the songs, and in our performance, that's where we kind of come alive together in Angie's joy and expression of happiness.
Is there an introvert extrovert kind of feel with y'all? Is like one of y'all introverted and one of y'all extroverted?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So she's the personality, and you're probably more of the introvert.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you as an artist to have that? I mean, you say joyful, I say bright, the bright, loud, you know, personality in front of your music now. I mean, that's going to be different for you as an artist, right?
Oh, it's been, you know, as crazy as it is, I've been doing it for so long by myself.
Sure.
That you would think that naturally it would be, I would have an adverse reaction or uncomfortable feeling with it, but it's been the most comfortable that I've ever been with my music since I started. And it's because of the audience reaction. It isn't geared towards Joe Finley, and it doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels like a oneness and this thing that we do together that seems to have a lot more life and more vibrant than what Joe Finley was standing alone.
Sure.
Know?
So is there a validation and a confidence level for you having her on board and kind of being vocal and telling you how much of a rock star you are? I know how important that is, you know?
Yes, that is a very huge deal for me. You know, the way that she takes these songs that I've written and brings them to life. It brings just great joy to my heart, and it inspires me, and it helps me in my performance and, you know, with my passion.
And so for you, Angie, what's it like going from someone who kind of went out to Southern California looking for movies, TV, film, things like that, and now you're in a band? You mentioned that. Found myself in a band, right? So
Right.
what's that like for you, just personally?
I feel like grateful, really, that he brought this out of me, because honestly, you don't know you can do things that are impossible, right? And he always has encouraged me, because he says, you know, I helped him and saved his life, but honestly, it's just as equal. I feel like just honored to be a part of it, because like I said, I came out of it. That doesn't mean I became successful at it. And him, and he got me singing. Now, I never thought that I could do it, and I just love being on stage. I I love performing, and that's really where, like, that's where I belong, So the fact that we magically met under the stars, I guess you could say, and then have been doing this together, it's just kind of like a dream come true.
And so, like, it's a performance thing for you, whether it's acting or singing. It's still the same thing. You're essentially
joy to the audience.
Yeah. You're performing somebody else's content, right? In this case, it's your husband's songs, but it's just as important from a performance standpoint to create believability in the performance, and that's where your role is in creating believability within the audience, right? In delivering the lyric of these songs, don't you think?
Yes.
It's not that hard to sell because she does believe in what she's doing.
Right.
That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is making other people believe it. Yeah.
But her inspiration to me through those songs is as if these are our songs. These are our life experiences. I just happen to be the one penning them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But they still come from what we're experiencing in our lives together. So she's not just singing my songs; they're our songs.
Yeah. So it's an equal passion level, is what you're saying.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And he's an inspired writer, so he writes about our lives, and he's very inspired when he's writing, and it's just the most amazing thing to witness, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's obvious to me as a listener of yours that you both believe in the product wholeheartedly. I mean, obviously, you're both tugging on the same side of the rope, so to speak.
Yes.
That's not what I mean at all. I just mean that it's a performance-based industry, and you have to get that believability down to a listener, right? That's ultimately the goal.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yes.
So I'm trying to kind of make a correlation between her dreams of being an actress and.
I think that you nailed it right on the head, actually, Chris. I think that is.
Yes. Just like her dreams of being an actress, and now she's a performance artist, so to speak, in a band. I think
you've identified something quite. It should have been obvious, but
I just don't think the apple falls too far from the tree. I think it's two birds, two wings of the same bird, so to speak, right?
That's right.
It's just cool to find the story, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
So, talk about a little bit of maybe the changes in your content as a singer and a songwriter since becoming a duo. And so, in other words, has your songwriting changed since you've gotten together with Angie professionally? And if so, how, in what ways?
Well, it changed a lot because Angie initially was learning how to sing. So I was writing for the voice that she had. So I was doing a lot of this trade-off kind of talk singing, kind of B-52-ish stuff.
Yeah.
Where, and back and forth like that. So it was this cute little banter that we had going, and it was quite appealing, and it was selling very well. Then we decided to go to Nashville for our third album and record with our producer Bill Watson, and of course the sound began to change, but so did my songwriting in a spiritual way. So we were doing these pop rock albums, and each one would contain a couple Christian songs on it, and so things were unbeknownst to me, it began to happen, and we hit this our seventh album, and everything on that album was dedicated to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's just my whole life had changed and transformed during those 10 years of performing together, and now basically we're a Christian pop rock band with all of our catalog behind us as well. We're not eliminating that, but that's our future.
So essentially, the tools in your toolbox, songwriting wise, have just changed, and you've been pretty prescient and aware that they've changed, and kind of just adjusting to that, right?
Yes.
So, man, I find it interesting, and I see it sitting next to you in my email notes with y'all. You have a new book as well.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about that.
That's what I was going to say. Is tell them about Breaking Through the Pain.
Well, False Sense of Security is it's autobiographical, basically. It is a story of a tragedy that my family had lived through. My wife Laura was murdered at a historic hotel in Los Angeles, and in 2010, and of course my life and the lives of my children were just absolutely devastated and nearly destroyed. And so I had spent the following years investigating my wife's case personally, as the LAPD had named me as a person of interest and the only person of interest in the crime. So with due diligence and 24/7 investigative, with my investigative hat and whatever tool I had available to me and some private investigators that I hired and a number of different things, I was able to solve the murder. When I brought the evidence to the Los Angeles Police Department, they had made a conscious decision to not pursue the perpetrators of the crime. So I went through all kinds of hell in trying to get this message out, and I couldn't find anybody to really help my voice get louder. So I felt compelled to write this book.
Right.
And so part of the book is, well, the majority of the book is about how all that transpired and how I solved the murder, but it's also a story of hope and how Angie stepped into my life and how God intervened in my circumstances and how we were able to play these songs and perform with joyful hearts, coming out of this horrific tragedy that is the beginning of our lives. So I thought it was important to kind of tie the two things together with our music, because they were going to eventually meet somewhere along the line,
And so you two met during the process of you trying to find out what happened, essentially.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
So what's that like for you, Angie, kind of coming into that circumstance and being part of in formulating a relationship with him now when he's trying to discover what happened prior to that,
Yes, it was absolutely unbelievable. I just believe that I had the privilege of actually knowing them prior. So I knew Joe and I knew Laura, and I knew that obviously he had nothing to do with it.
Right.
So I knew their family on a personal level. So it wasn't like I was a stranger after the fact.
Yeah.
So I was there, and then us falling in love and starting the band. I can't describe that, Chris.
Yeah.
That all happened by God and happened so quickly. Like, looking back now, introspectively, I'm just like, wow, because going through it, it's not a normal beginning of a relationship.
No, that's
He was very vulnerable.
Yeah.
At that time, and very. He was.
I would say it would take a really strong lady to navigate those waters and kind of settle everything out. You talk about being a very vulnerable place in his life, man. I imagine it takes a really strong person to help somebody through that.
I've never seen a person as strong as Angie.
Yeah.
In my entire life.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Cried out to me and kind of poured his heart out to me about 1 year after the tragedy took place, and we were at his home for a celebration of Halloween, I believe. And that evening, after everyone left, he just ended up kind of pouring his heart out to me about everything. And I don't know, I just felt like I just didn't want him to be alone.
Yeah.
So
what's been the reaction for the book so far, Joe?
The reaction to the book has been overwhelming to me. It hasn't served its actual purpose yet, which is I'm in the pursuit of justice. So I'm trying to expose this information so that, in doing so, justice will prevail for me and my family. But I've had heartfelt responses.
So the case is not resolved yet?
The case is not resolved criminally.
Okay.
Wow. The trick was that I took it to civil court, and that's where the perpetrators were exposed by name.
Okay.
The judge literally said in the summary judgment, Arthur Smith and Oswaldo Duarte are responsible for the death of Laura Finley and the cover-up that ensued. And that information was supposed to be transferred to major crimes at LAPD. And then it was. And I hand-delivered it myself.
That's right. And he met with detectives, and it's all in the book.
And they have intentionally decided to not pursue this man. Now, you've got to understand this too, Chris. The book's very complex. This man was the director of hotel security at the hotel. He also was involved in 2 other murders prior that I discovered during my personal investigation, and got in contact with family members of one of the deceased members of their family. And 100% this man is a serial killer, and he's been doing this and getting away with it. Now, the 2 murders in Atlanta, Georgia that he got away with, I pursued that on behalf of my friend who I befriended after discovering that her aunt had been murdered by Arthur Smith and his cronies.
Wow.
And the Atlanta PD has shut me down. So the LAPD and the Atlanta PD both participated in these murders that Arthur Smith committed. They allowed him, as the director of hotel security, to lead their investigations, which led to nowhere and inevitably ended up as a cold case. And that's where these 3 murders are now currently. And I'm the only person with a voice for these 3 deceased women to help them find justice for my family.
So where can folks find your book? Because I'm not seeing it on the website here. So where can people pick it up?
I need to get it linked up on our website. But go to Amazon, and it's called A False Sense of Security. If it's available on Amazon, you can get it ebook, I believe, through Kindle. Electronically, I know that,
Yeah.
and it's available through this is a hardcover, and then paperback.
Okay, cool. So you guys make sure you do that. Pick that up, and maybe guys make some phone calls too, right? So
thank you. Yes, please.
Absolutely. The website for these guys is the swansonsmusic.com, all one word, and you can get all of their records on here. I think some of them are sold out, maybe the MP3 downloads. But they also have merch and stuff like that, so you guys make sure you're checking that out. What's your social medias where folks can follow along?
The Swansons Music. That's right. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It's all at the Swansons Music.
Man, before I get off of here, I gotta just bringing it back to the music kind of indirectly. I want to talk about visual arts, which is very, I'm assuming based on what I see and hear from y'all, has to be very important to y'all. I know y'all have an internet show as well that has to do a lot with visual arts as well. Talk about kind of the combination of your music with the visual side of things, with music videos and the visual things that we see. Very much like the flag in the background, but like the current video, for example, is very visually pleasing for Forever.
Well, we had decided, Chris, from day one, I had already experimented with this idea of syncing live videos with the music that we're playing,
the track,
as a solo artist.
Sure.
So I kind of played with that a little bit. So Angie and I kind of adopted that and said, okay, well, let's go ahead and make a video to coincide with every single song that we perform live, and then have the video screen behind us, and so that the audience sees our lips moving in exact formation, right? And it's really mind-boggling. It's very, very, very pleasing from an entertainment standpoint. And we just kind of like grew that. We started very basic with just doing it in our house and in the living room. And then we went out on location. Then we're leaving the state, you know what I mean? And so it's really grown into this gigantic thing that is part of who we are in our show. You know, we have a video for every single song we perform.
So it's
live.
about the live show. It's visually,
yes.
Wow. See, I
Yes,
would not have correlated that. That is very interesting to me, man. What's the reaction been like for that? I mean, because it's very different than a normal. I mean, you might see that in a Taylor Swift, like, level artist where they have all the money and stuff like that.
Right,
but
right.
Like, a smaller artist in a smaller kind of venue is not really probably thinking about stuff like that. What's the reaction?
Joe goes big, man. Joe goes big. And he was revolutionary with that video, syncing it to the click track far beyond before videos were even cool.
Before Taylor Swift. I love it.
Before she was even born. He was literally doing all that. So it did get adopted in right off the bat, but it is a lot for us to keep up. That's why it's important, and we're thankful for people buying stuff off of our merch because that helps us keep going. It does cost us money to go out there every day when we're out there shooting videos. We're not making other money, right? So it costs us money to do these videos. So we have invested our entire lives into this. I'm talking.
We are broke, sir.
So I'm assuming though that the reaction has been good. If you guys are still trying to do this,
when we bring our screen to a venue, let's just say Viper Room or Troubadour, we bring our screen and a ground projector that's projecting up, and it's synced to the drummer, and the drummer's hitting an iPad, and it's going directly to both. And yeah, people are like,
wow. That's cool. That's really cool, man. Revolutionary, dudes. Congrats on that, man. Seriously. Congrats on the Josie from last year, the upcoming nominations that you guys have this year. I know that's so important, and that's at the Grand Ole Opry House nowadays, guys. The Josies are there every single year. That's a big deal. So congrats on that. It's the swansonsmusic.com, all one word. Get over there, purchase the music, get you a t-shirt, help them continue to sync these videos up, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Yes.
Joe and Angie, I appreciate you being my guest. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
You, Chris. Thank you, man.
you.
All right,
Have
man.
a great day.
Yeah, you guys have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
You too.
All right. All right, guys, it's episode 12 of Live and Unscripted. Guys, you just never know, right? Who knew we were going to be talking about a true crime here on the show tonight? You just don't ever know what's going to happen on this show. And that's why it is live and unscripted. That's why I have no net. I don't know what's going to happen. I have to be ready, and I love it. It's such a cool vibe, man. If you hear the sound of my voice, please hit the like button wherever you're listening, watching, whatever. That's going to really help us out a lot to do more like this. And guys, every single Tuesday we are live and unscripted with singer-songwriters, artists from all over the world. Legitimately all over the world. I got to tell you guys about our upcoming episodes for this weekend, because we also do a podcast every weekend. We do 2 podcasts every weekend, and this week is no different. On Friday evening, 8 p.m. episode 196 will drop, featuring my buddy Allie Colleen. Allie is the daughter of a very famous person that will remain unnamed, but she is carving out a legacy of her own, and she is freaking amazing, okay? Amazing in her own right. She's making waves and just an incredible human being. So I hope you guys will check out episode 196 on Friday evening. And then, without further ado, like on Saturday night at 8 p.m., episode 197, featuring my friend, the Perez Hilton of Texas country music, Miss Rita Ballou, aka Crystal Campbell, is going to be visiting with us for a side stitching good time. You guys will laugh your asses off through that entire episode on Saturday. And then next Tuesday here on the live show, we're going to have Buckersfield and Orbis Max will be my guests at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. respectively. Appreciate y'all hanging out. I'll see you down the road.